Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. We've got our second series of the night for you in the Join Dota League Season 4. This is Leviathan versus Union Gaming. And if you checked out the statistics, or the standings, I should say, that I posted in chat, you will see that this game or series is for 4th place, which is very huge as the top 4 in the JDL do move on to the finals immediately rather than having to go through the Division 1 and 2 playoffs. Leviathan currently sitting, I believe, in 4th place. Just to double check that, they are 4th place at 9 and 5. Union sitting at 5th at 8 and 4. So if Union does take this series, they will go into 4th. In fact, if they even take one game, they will go into 4th by virtue of having less losses than Leviathan. So big implications here for Union Gaming. Thanks again for joining me, guys. This is HeflaTV. I am Maurice, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, and we will get into the draft here for our first game of the second series of the night. And hopefully it will be a good one for you guys. If you enjoy the cast, please follow me over on Twitter at MRP_Dota. If you don't, flame me in Twitch chat and make a bad Reddit thread about me. Why the hell not? First 2 bans. Void from Union Gaming. Once again, they banned this in both games up against THD. They tied up the series against THD 1-1 and banned Void in both games. Tidehunter going to be the first ban here from Leviathan as well. And they're going to take out a very strong hero. A hero that pretty much is the hallmark of their team name. So interesting that they'll take that out there. But they do have a lot of skill. As you notice, Fact or Fiction is standing in here for Shredder. Shredder, a hero I love to a player I love to cast. Unfortunately, according to Shibby, this is the exact words from the lobby, his boyfriend came home from Paris and they went on a date. So we're not gonna see any Shredder Doto today, but we will have Shibby, Newsum, Jenkins, and Sunken, who are all original members of Leviathan. And a lot of stand-ins here for UG, Benhaz, and Jericho, the only real players from the lineup. But they have played pretty well today. Tex in the offlane, Leo Style in the mid, Baka on support with Jericho. Benhaz still in his 1 position, and they will pick up the first pick Brewmaster for Leo Style in the mid. He played very well on his puck in a game that UG unfortunately lost to THD. He played very well, especially early game, and not extremely well into the mid and late game, but he is good on these space creating heroes and should be pretty darn good on the Brewmaster. We'll see what he's able to do and how he's able to fare with that. Very strong first pick here from the side of Union Gaming, and we'll see what the response is from the American squad. America versus Peru in this one, guys. So it'll be interesting to see how many fans came out from either scene in Dota here. Either way, Jenkins is Canadian, so he's definitely my favorite. And his name does say, if you can't read the whole thing, tweet me, please. So while you're following me at MRP_Dota, go follow at Jenkins Dota and tweet him. He's lonely, and he'd like some interaction, and he is damn good, so he deserves it. Skywrath Mage, first pickup from Leviathan here. Interesting to see what they couple that with and how they utilize it throughout the early game. He is a very good roaming support, is also a good support in an offlane dual lane for some zoning, and of course in the defensive and aggressive tries with all the magic damage he has and the zoning capabilities. And so we'll see what he's able to do with that. Either way, second pick about to come out here for Leviathan. They ban out the Bat Rider, so pretty good ban. He's obviously always a very effective hero. Actually a pretty good pick as well versus their Brewmaster, especially with the Skywrath Mage. But they're going to couple this with the Centaur. So strong offlaner, very strong combo in the Skywrath Centaur. Roaming around, once that Centaur is able to get up his Blink Dagger, Blink, Hoof Stomp, Double Edge with an Ancient Seal combination is absolutely massive. Even if you just get the Double Edge off at level 4, that's a 400 damage nuke. Amplified by, let's say, at least a level 2 Ancient Seal at that point, which is an increase in 35%, which is about 140 extra damage. So 540 damage nuke before reductions, of course, resistances and whatnot. So still a huge nuke from that Centaur coming out with the Skywrath, and for obvious reasons these heroes generally not let into the pool together, and they are often picked up individually in lineups. But Union going to allow that to slip through, and it's going to get prioritized by Leviathan. First phase, they're going to pick up that Skywrath Centaur, and is very good versus the Brewmaster as well. They're able to burst him down and silence him up before getting off that Primal Split, and that really is the goal with a Brewmaster, is to not allow him to get off that split. The 3 Brewlings are very hard to kill off and very pesky immolation damage, as well as the control offered from the Earth and Wind Pandas. So we'll see what they're able to do and how much they're able to get done with that Skywrath Centaur combo. Of course, you do need this Centaur to get quite a bit of farm early on to utilize the full potential of that duo. And therefore, we will see if Union Gaming is able to disrupt the timing of that blink on the Centaur and bring him down a few times early on. Brewmaster with the mid lane farm should have a quicker blink. So perhaps for them, they do look to take things to the face of Leviathan a little bit earlier than vice versa. And Ogre Magi going to be picked up here from Union Gaming is a very good support to couple with the Skywrath Mage. And therefore a bit of a pick ban from the side of UG, but also just a very strong hero in his own right. Is very good early with the Ignite damage as well as the disable offered by the Fire Blast. And does transition well, helping to assist your carries with that Bloodlust. So Ogre, very good pickup for many teams in many lineups, and all throughout this meta has been prioritized quite a bit. And he will get picked up here by the side of Union Gaming, and we'll see what they look to ban out in order to complement the lineup they have so far. They're going to take out the Vengeful Spirit, so another good roamer with the Skywrath Mage. It does leave the Sand King still available with the Skywrath. There's also the Wraith King if they want that as well. Wraith King is pretty good into the Brewmaster. He's not a great support target to melt down with that split active, so I do like the Wraith King pickup here if that is the choice from Leviathan. He works well with the Skywrath as well with the amplification of the Wraith Fire Blast magic damage, and therefore I wouldn't mind seeing that. But the Vengeful banned out by UG, and Vengeful has been fairly effective throughout JDL, so not a bad ban at all. Very good with positioning. Obviously offers the minus armor as well as the magic missile to combo up well with that Ancient Seal and offer some disable. So Vengeful Spirit gonna be taken out of the game here, but we'll see what the bans are from Leviathan to answer this Vengeful Spirit ban. Taking quite a while to think about. Gonna take out that Jakiro, so taking away some push ability from the side of Union Gaming, and a very good support as well as core in the Jakiro if you're able to get up the early levels in that Liquid Fire, able to drop all the tier 1s of the opponent's team without too much contest. And with the Brewmaster, they would be able to create a lot of space for that to happen, and would have a very good 5-man lineup early on with the Brew, Ogre, and Jakiro. So wise ban from Leviathan, and they'll take that away from either Benhaz or perhaps Tex in the off lane. So interesting ban there. Definitely just a strong hero in general, and one that is warranted being removed from the pool. PA is going to be banned out here by UG. They fell to a Liposa PA in the second game up against THD, and they do have the Brewmaster with a lot of his magical toolkit as well as the Ogre, so they had some ways to deal with the PA, but they don't have quite enough right click at this point. No one who's going to build into a BKB, and so they will take out the PA. Either way, strong hero, even if they had ways to deal with her or not. So PA removed away from the side of Leviathan, and generally that would have been Shredder's hero, but we do see that Shredder's being stood in for here, so I'm not sure if the stand-in is just going to take his one position role, or perhaps Shibby goes to that and they put Jenkins in the mid. I'm not sure exactly what the arrangement is here for Leviathan, but either way, fact or fiction standing in for Shredder, the usual one position player for Leviathan here. And unfortunately, he is being stood in for in a pretty big game once again. Union Gaming 5th place 8-4, Leviathan 4th place 9-5. So if Union Gaming takes one of the wins in this one, they will be already into the top 4. Of course, if Leviathan takes another, that'll put them at 10 wins, so they will still secure 4th spot. But if Union Gaming wins out the series, they will grab up that ever coveted 4th spot to allow them to go through to the finals of the JDL Season 4. And Lycan ban comes out here from Leviathan. So Lycan is a hero that works well with grabbing farm, and space creators like Brewmaster can also split push fairly well with the Howl, and his litter of units with the Wolves and perhaps the Necro units if he chooses to build into that. Either way, we're going to continue on with the picks here. Leviathan going to pick up the Storm Spirit, perhaps for Shibby in the mid. Generally, he'd be the one playing this hero. Another Space Creator does work well against the Brewmaster. You can overload the Brewmaster first off and then transition that or chain it into an Ancient Seal with the toolkit from the Centaur as well. They should be able to burst down this brew. Also, Storm Spirit, Perennial Orchid Malevolence builder, and that's very good up against the Brewmaster. It does synergize well with the burst that they have. Of course, the Soul Burn, the extra damage provided at the end of the Orchid duration does benefit heavily from burst as opposed to sustained damage or damage over time. So Storm Spirit, a nice pickup here for Leviathan. He is going to have quite a bit of free reign thus far. I mean, Union Gaming only have 2 heroes in their lineup, but really the only hard disable for him is that Fire Blast from the Ogre Magi. The Boulder Toss from Brew is there, as well as the Cyclone, but the Boulder Toss is generally dodgeable with that Ball Lightning. It's pretty slow projectile, so you usually can dodge it if you save enough mana. And the AA is going to be picked up here by Union Gaming, so Ice Vortex does combo well with the Ogre Magi. It increases amplification, magic damage. There's an element of amplification there, just as there is with Ancient Seal. So very strong lane supports in the AA Ogre. They'll also be able to support these global ganks executed by the Centaur, Storm, and Skywrath with the Ice Blast from afar. So not a bad pickup for Union here. It does give them a little bit of global presence, a little bit of counter initiation, and it combos well with the Ogre. Cold Feet procs are more or less guaranteed with the Ignite and Fire Blast, especially if there is a multicast there, and the Ice Vortex does amplify the damage, as well as the Chilling Touch being very strong in lane early on, especially if they go boots first on this Ogre. Nature's Prophet's going to be the pickup, presumably for Jenkins here on the side of Leviathan, and that's an interesting pickup. Doesn't necessarily synergize very well with their lineup, but with the roaming Centaur, Storm, Skywrath, the NP can be porting in and helping out with these kills and look to fight early on. So you expect early Null Talisman, perhaps Blade Mail build from Jenkins here if he is the one to pick up this Nature's Prophet. And he will be looking to fight early and assist with these ganks, not only with the Nature's Wrath, but also with his presence and some right clicks and the Sprout. So is a little bit better than it looks on paper here for Leviathan, but they are fairly squishy aside from the Centaur, and the Nyx Assassin is going to be picked up instantly in response to the Nature's Prophet, so he will be able to catch him and the Skywrath out more often than not, and if he's able to catch out this Storm Spirit as well and burn some of his mana, could potentially set up some kills in that manner as well. And Naga Siren going to be banned here from Leviathan, so definitely carry needed here for Union Gaming. You'll expect this Nyx Assassin to go to the off lane with the Brew in the mid lane, and they're going to need someone to transition them into the late game. Spectre isn't bad here for the side of UG. There's a lot of magic damage, however, and she probably won't have to build into a Vanguard in that sense. Radiance is very good, though, against the lineup of Leviathan, especially the NP and the Skywrath Mage, and she does have the dispersion to mitigate some of the damage coming her way, and does have the global presence to haunt away from ganks or into ganks to counter initiate. So I don't mind the Spectre here from UG, but I don't know that Ben has plays that Spectre all too often, so going to be interesting to see what UG picks up to round out their lineup. The Faceless Void was banned out in the first phase, so he's not available there as a hard carry 1 role. Elder Titan going to be the pickup from Leviathan, so this will be presumably a 1-position Centaur or NP with the Elder Titan in the off lane perhaps. They could even put the NP in the jungle with that Elder Titan in the off lane and the Centaur in the safe lane, and the TA will be the pick for UG. This was banned out both games, I believe, by them actually, up against Yuka. So definitely something they've been thinking about today, and the minus armor certainly does help against Skywrath and Nature's Prophet, and even the ET, who start with not the best base armor here. So things looking not bad at all in the draft for Leviathan and for Union Gaming. In fact, I would slightly favor Union here, but it's really all based around the Storm, Centaur, Skywrath trio, and even from the help of Jenkins on that Nature's Prophet, if they're able to set up these ganks early on and stop Leo Style from snowballing on this PA, stop Tex from snowballing on that Nyx Assassin, they will transition into a great mid game, and thereafter should really take it over. So I feel like the mid game is a lot lot more pressure based for Union Gaming. They're going to be in a position where they need to get a lot more done in order for their TA and their Brew and their Nyx to snowball into that mid game and begin punishing the lineup of LVT, especially in the form of the Nature's Prophet and the Skywrath Mage. Everyone else fairly tanky. So either way, let's introduce the team's first game in our second series tonight. This is HeflaTV. I am Morge, please, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster. Fact or Fiction standing in for Shredder on the Centaur in the safe lane thus far. Nujum gonna pick up that support Elder. Titan Sunken on the Skywrath Mage in the mid. Shibby playing on the Storm Spirit, and in the off lane, Jenkins, your resident Canadian Dota 2 player, playing in that off lane. For the side of Union Gaming, once again, second series today, Tex going to be playing in the off lane on that Nyx Assassin in the mid, Leo style on the Templar Assassin. Jericho going to be playing on the Ogre in the safe lane with Baka on the Ancient Apparition. And Ben has actually in the safe lane on that Brewmaster. So we will see a TA versus Storm Spirit matchup mid. Interesting matchup there. The TA does have the refraction, so despite having to be close to the wave, the static remnant spam not going to be amazing here from Shibby, as he is going to have to bring down those refraction charges. And so we'll see if he opts for a max overload build to help with the last hitting. Max static remnant, probably not the best build here, and therefore that may be the choice from him. But either way, 2 defensive tri-lanes, 2 solo off-laners for both teams here, so pretty standard stuff. Ward going to be placed on the high ground of Roche by Tex here. Sunken is going to ping out that high ground, so they are going to de-ward that promptly here, as he did have the luxury of having an invisibility rune ready, and they may look to find this Nyx Assassin level 1 who hasn't skilled anything, so will be pretty susceptible to this gank here. However, they don't have much lockdown. They do have the Hoof Stomp available, though, if that is the case. And we do have the Stats Man, Sebek, with us from Join Dota, so shoutouts to him. And hopefully we can get some use out of that. Just want to change some things here. Just want to make things look a little better. So it looks like we do have an unpause here, and Jenkins adding the go. A little bit of lag, but Sunken is aggressing. Top lane, Jenkins seems to be okay. In the mid lane, we do have the Ogre Magi posturing up against the Storm Spirit, but they haven't been able to get anything done. Sunken is skilled concussive shot. He will drop that here. The Spirit is there as well. Fact and Fiction does not get in range despite the body blocks from Sunken for a Hoof Stomp, so we will be able to back off here, and things will be just fine for the side of UG for now. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the Nature's Prophet gonna tick down to that Ignite, as we did see Jericho rotate in, and he will catch a clap to the face, and down goes the NP there. Ignite the only thing registering on the fight recap, but Chilling Touch, pretty good spell early on, and adding all that magic damage, 50 damage to each attack for all 3 of those heroes is well more than enough to bring down this Nature's Prophet. Is there a Boots First build here on the Ogre? There is, so Jericho opting for the very common build for the Ogre. And in the mid lane, 9-2 for Leo style, up against the 5-1 of Shibby. The TA having a good time thus far. Tex contesting things in the bot lane, but everything going to stagnate for the time being. A few uphill misses from Sunken. He's going to leave himself a little bit vulnerable, but he does bring down that ward. He is going to drop a concussive shot into Tex, who's also taking a little harass from the Spirit, but is going to drop an Impale and bring down the Skywrath pretty low and rotate out, albeit he will not be finding any experience at this point. And we've already seen Jenkins rotate back to the jungle, so interesting choice from him. He's going to sack the off lane for now. Jericho, no ward here for the high ground, but is posturing up mid lane to perhaps take down Shibby, who is now 10-3 on the Storm, so has caught up a bit in terms of CS. Does miss one there, but not doing too bad, and pretty much at parity with the TA here. Shibby backing up to find the courier, so unfortunately Jericho not going to be able to be successful on his courier snipe attempt. The stats come through, and you do see the positions, current positions. There's already 4th and 5th here. Dyer's courier, though, taken out on the backside by a TP in from Jenkins. He'll salve up. He's going to run into the Ogre Magi here in the jungle, but Jericho shouldn't be able to kill him. He doesn't, however, have mana to TP away, and he's going to have to run. There's no Orb of Venom on the Ogre, but the TA is going to rotate back, and this should be a free kill, so Jenkins going to probably trade his life over for the courier here. Meld Strike is available from Leo Styles. Not going to need it. He's got the refraction damage. Going to wait for the creeps to take him down, but they all walk in the range of a Thunderclap. And easy deny for Jenkins. Well played by him. 2-0 is your score. 3.5 minutes in, but 1 kill going the way of neutrals. So Union Gaming not finding any experience for that, and you will be able to TP right back up to the top lane and mount a defense on this tier 1 here. So well played by Jenkins. He gets the courier there. Nothing was on it. The bottle was already delivered to Leo, but he won't be able to crow, and the rest of his teams will be starved out here in this early game for some of their items. Treads, though, picked up from the side shop from Benhaz, so doesn't need the courier for those, and will be fine to continue farming in lane. 22 last hits on this Brewmaster to the 19 of his laning equivalent in the Centaur War Runner, but they'll both have pretty early blinks coming out of that safe lane. And Bounty Rune picked up by Leo Style. And Jericho still sitting at level 2 on this Ogre Magi. Taking a look at the support levels, that's pretty much where everyone is. But for the side of Leviathan, they do have their Elder Titan and Skywrath both sitting at level 3. So a little bit of an advantage there in terms of the supports. And the Ancient Apparition needing a pause here, so Baka trying to get some things done. The over-under in chat was 4. That's 2 pauses so far from Union Gaming, guys. So getting close there. But either way, Leo Style in the mid lane, top in the net worth chart currently, and does have 23 last hits, just above the 17 of Shibby. Going to try and find some here underneath the tower. A little bit difficult to do. Trio of Nusham, Factor Fiction, and Sunken looking to put a little bit of harassment to this bottom lane. Stomp is going to land on Tex. Concussive Shot is there with the Ancient Seal. Spike Carapace going to stop the Skywrath, but the Hoof Stomp barely out of range from Factor Fiction. 2-man Impale easy from Tex. They'll have to back off through the tree line here as Sunken continues to put a little bit of work into the tower. Jenkins finding some experience here, managed to pull the Radiant Wave towards the creeps and is well within range for experience, so he will find a bit of that. He rotates a Treant in as well, but not going to get much done, and is pretty survivable despite not having boots here. But he does catch a Fire Blast to the face. Ignite goes out as well. Is Clap in range? He's going to try and just TP out. Not going to be enough, Jenkins. And he probably did make the right decision. Being that the Ice Vortex was down, he probably couldn't have walked away from that clap from Benhaz, but easy 1 right click each with the Chilling Touch Up and the clap. And they bring down Jenkins for the second time. 3-0, 6 minutes in favor of UG. They're taking a little bit of lead in terms of gold. That's about 1,000 their way, 500 in terms of experience. Factor Fiction still free farming, however, is going for a Blink Rush here. So on the contrary to the Brewmaster, who has gone Treads first and has 1,000 gold here. So the 2 kills for Ben has still making him pretty farmed on this Brew. 42 last hits. Been involved in 2 kills, 2 assists, I should say. Here's the third pause of the game, not by Union, however. And Factor Fiction has gone for that Blink Rush at this point, and is 1,750 gold, so 400 gold, 500 gold away, I should say, from that Blink. Now 2,250. And they will bring down the tier 1 in the top lane. Last hit going the way of the Dyer. So unfortunately, no one picking that up. Ben has not able to get that. That would have helped him on the way to the Blink Dagger. But he's only 500 gold behind this Centaur, despite having Tread. So 1,000 gold more there. So really 500 gold ahead is the Brewmaster. And you see that reflected a little more on the net worth chart. Leo Style doing well, 37 CS. On this Templar Assassin, 3,200 net worth, 1,000 ahead of Shibby. So Shibby hasn't died at all here, but that kill in the Nature's Prophet, I guess, well, I guess nothing actually happened because that was denied to neutrals. But either way, amassing pretty big advantage is this TA in the mid lane, despite losing her courier early. So good on Leo Style to recover nicely from that. And using the refraction to his benefit is doing very well up against the Storm Spirit. Definitely a good matchup for the TA. So Leo Style using his boundaries here and finding quite a bit. Opted for the 4-1-1 build. Very standard on the TA. And Tex has found level 5 on this Nyx Assassin, so that's a very nice pickup for him. The Nature's Prophet of Jenkins is only level 4, so he's a level ahead in that respect. Jenkins has retreated to the jungle. And Spike Carapace going to go out onto Sunken. He's going to look for a solo kill here with Tex and Jericho. Double hoof stomp, though. There's the double edge Ancient Seal combo we talked about. And rotations in from Jenkins. So, Union, as you see in the stats, looking for revenge here. Leviathan beat them in the Summit 2 group stages. Neither team making it through, however. First Departure did win that and proceeded to not be able to make it. So, Tinker replacing the Americas in the Summit 2. Either way, nice kill in the bot lane going the way of Fact or Fiction. They try to take out Sunken with a very nice Spike Carapace from Tex and rotation in from Jericho, but they are unable to do that as he rotates back very low here. Jenkins is going to get slowed up with a Psionic Track, and here's the Ignite hitting through the fog there. There is a Meld Strike available from Leo Style. He throws that in. One last right click. Easy kill for Leo Style's TA. He was doing very well thus far, and things were bought by Jenkins there, so it seems. And he will now have boots, so he may have made it away if he had those available there. Factor Fiction, Tranquils and 2200 gold, 50 gold away from that Blink Dagger. And it does come out, but simultaneously, Ben has his Blink comes out as well. And in the top lane, Stomp going to go out onto Ben. Has one last stapler into the face of Baka. Nice kill found from Nusham. And easy 1-0 in the top lane. Blink forward, though. Clap not available from Ben Has. He's short on mana even after tread swapping. And Nusham going to make it away. Very nice solo kill for the ET. He's holding on to his skill point at this point, it seems, unless he's gone for the max Astral Spirit and bypassed that Earth Splitter, which isn't too unusual on the Elder Titan. Do need a lot of setup for that Earth Splitter to connect well. And the Blink Dagger is available here for Factor Fiction. Guess he's just waiting to grab it from the side shop as opposed to currying it over. But Ice Blast in the bot lane is going to fly. It's going to land on Factor Fiction. Ignite is there with the Impale. There's a Fire Blast as well. He doesn't get the Hoof Stomp off. And the return damage is a free Spike Carapace. They're going to catch out Tex here. He doesn't have a TP. Zip forward from Shibby. He's going to try and find Baka here, but he's going to have to zip out as Jericho is there. Fire Blast in the face. Nyx Assassin does fall on the backlines to an Arcane Orb. And actually the Radiant are going to be the ones to bring him down, the range creep. And they bring down the Centaur with enough gold for his Blink. So big misplay here from Factor Fiction to stand in. He actually wanted to buy that Blink from the side shop as opposed to ferrying it over, and dies with enough gold and is now lower than what is required to pick that up. In the bot lane though, engagement Sprout onto Jericho, Blink forward, clap, Primal Split. Jenkins gonna shatter here, and he does. Brewmaster actually gonna find the kill there. Cycloned up in the air is Shibby. Stomp gonna be a nice zoning stomp there. Impale though, too little to save the Storm Spear. Buyback is from Jenkins, but he's not going to be able to TP into this engagement. Elder Titan caught out in no man's land, and we're going to see Nusham go down here potentially. There is a TP in from Jenkins that was cancelled. Impale going to finish off the Elder Titan there. Actually, one last right click from Leo Style, finding the last hit. And a nice engagement in the bot lane for Union Gaming. They're going to bring in on the Storm, the Nature's Prophet, and the Elder Titan. And they only lose the Nyx Assassin for that one. Ice Blast going to scout out the tree line. Not going to find much. And Tread's now picked up for Shibby, but TA doing much better already with Phase Drums and 1,500 gold for Leo Style. Once again, a standout player thus far for Union Gaming. Did play very well in the series up against THD as well. Jenkins not able to find much on this Nature's Prophet. Perhaps still going for that Midas at this point. Only has Boots, Bassi, and one Null Talisman up. Did just buy something, perhaps a second Null Talisman for him. He finishes off his Treads here. So still looking to fight. Jump in mid lane. Ancient Seal onto Jericho. Arcane Bolt. Couple right clicks from the Overload. One more needed, and they will finish him off. But in the meantime, Sunken dropped on the backline. Stomp lands onto Leo Style, but Shibby gonna have to rotate out here. Benhaz is here with a Blink forward. They're not gonna hit him. Ice Blast also gonna whiff, and Shibby will make it out alive. But Skywrath for Ogre in the mid lane, and Shibby uses a lot of his mana pool here So Benhaz will pick up that bounty rune and deny the bottle refill from the Storm Spirit. And unfortunately, just a 1-for-1 in the mid lane for the side of Leviathan. They don't find much. They have found this Blink Dagger now on their centaur, and they really need to put it to effect here with Sunken on the Skywrath, as well as the Nature's Prophet from Jenkins being able to TP in. They're going to need to find some pickoffs, and they're going to need to get some better vision up to do so. They only have this one lane ward here in the bottom lane and one in the mid lane on the high ground, so they can pick off Leo style here if executed properly. There's a TP in from Tex here, so the Nyx Assassin is available with a Vendetta and a level 3 Impale at the ready. And he will go scouting for the Nature's Prophet, it seems. They do have vision here, so he's not using this Vendetta quite yet. But he's not going to find Jenkins right now. Baka in lane is going to perhaps bait himself out for that Nyx Assassin. And yep, things looking fairly even at this point. Shibby jump in mid lane, Hoof Stomp, as well as the Ancient Seal, Mystic Flare, Leo style, and that's what we were talking about in the draft. That is the potency of that trio. They will pick one off. Fire Blast, however, onto Nushim. Impale's going to hit from long range as well. Blink in, clap, and the split from Benhaz. Nushim going to fall here. 1-for-1 so far. Shibby's going to zip back with the ball lightning in. It'll be a Primal Split committed just for an Elder Titan kill, so still a small win for Leviathan, taking down the Templar Assassin here. They do have Jenkins finishing off the Ancient Apparition as well in the bot lane. So nice 2-for-1 across the map. Shibby has been spotted out by Tex and Jericho, but they don't have quite enough firepower to kill him off. And Benhaz is in the mid lane. Zip forward from Shibby, and he's going to blink out. So nice play from Benhaz. And he will survive for now, despite being pretty low on mana, not having a split. Leo style rotating back into the lane with her Yasha at the ready, so hitting pretty hard on this TA. You saw that Psyblade hitting Shibby for quite a bit. Ice Blast gonna whiff here. Actually does land on Factor Fiction, so just hits one. Blink forward towards the rune, and Benhaz gonna steal that bounty rune away from Shibby. He's not gonna be able to fill up his bottle, unfortunately for him. And is going to catch a clap for his trouble. Stomp mid lane onto Leo style. He's going to get jump in, Hoof Stomp, but a nice Fire Blast onto Sunken here. Their Ancient Seal up, Mystic Flare, body blocks from Factor Fiction, and the Stampede through the TA. Tech's going to get caught out on the backside as well. He gets his Carapace off. He has a haste, and he's going to try and run away. One more right click from the Storm is not quite enough. Impale onto 2. Shibby's still looking for the Nyx, but he uses all his mana. Won't find him. Tech's trying to TP out in the tree line. He will be able to do so. Ice Blast going to fly and is not going to land on anyone. Actually does fire through. Doesn't hit on impact with Nushim, but does hit him on the way. And will do a little bit of tickling damage there. Jenkins going to TP out in the top lane. He'll be just fine. Jericho doesn't get there quite quickly enough, and he will opt for the Blade Mail here. Is still a broadsword away on the Nature's Prophet. Arcanes are now picked up by the Nyx Assassin for the side of Union Gaming. So Tex looking to make some things happen now with that Vendetta on a pretty short cooldown. Level 1 is 70 seconds. So 2-man smoke from the Elder Titan and Sunken, and Shibby is already in the top lane, so perhaps going to bait himself out in the lane. Jenkins is here as well. For some reason, Factor Fiction is off farming in the bot lane, and they really needed him to make more happen with this Blink Dagger, so he should convene with his teammates fairly soon, I would assume, in this top lane. Sunken going to be scouting out with his smoke. Mid tower does go down to Leo style here, so a nice little influx of gold for him and his team. 870 gold on the TA, and rotating over is a Morbid Mask. So Vlad's going the way of the Brewmaster. They actually find one in the top lane. Baka does go down. Vendetta used by Tex to extricate himself, but yeah, so you see the TA from Leo style doing very well, although they do bring down the tier 1 in the top lane. And they will find the Roshan here for the side of Union Gaming. So tier 1 for Roshan, pretty common trade. Union Gaming certainly willing to take that and get their TA a second life here. Leo style level 11 currently. Taking a look at the hero levels with the Brewmaster above both Shibby and the Centaur. Stampede is going to be used here. Factor Fiction trying to find a solo kill, but he's going to run into the Ogre. Impale is there. The Clap is there as well. He's going to feed his life over. And I really question why the Centaur is not with his team. He's really not one of those heroes you want ricing on the other side of the map. But they will look to put some chip damage into this tier 2. Glyph is of course available as the tier 1 went down just recently for the side of Union Gaming. So they could use this Glyph very early and probably will choose to do so as they are rotating in with most of their heroes. TP's in from Leo Styles TA. He's got an Aegis here. TP out in the face of the TA from the Nature's Prophet, Nusham going to do the same. Zip TP away from Shibby. Everyone going to disengage fairly cleanly here from Leviathan. And Yule Scepter is going to be the build here for Sunken. They won't lose anything in that top lane, but they do expend 3 TPs there. They lose their Centaur across the map, who is now sitting pretty low on the net worth chart. 5th overall. Has picked up a casual hood here for the magic damage coming out from the Nyx, the AA, the Ogre, and the Brewmaster. But still hasn't regrouped with his team. Jump forward though in the mid lane. Shibby gonna find out Jericho. Mystic Flare with the Electric Overload, and that's gonna be used. Ice Blast is gonna hit on Shibby. Glancing Blow on his way out, but they find a clean pick off on the Ogre Magi. Not the best target to find one on, but a kill nonetheless. And we do see Tex running towards the bot lane to defend this wave up against the Centaur War Runner. He's fairly survivable. He's got a free Spike Carapace when he wants it, and there it is with the return damage coming out from Fact or Fiction. All you got to do is right click and Spike Carapace and you get that free stun off. So well played by Tex to keep himself alive. Also backs off the Centaur for the time being. Orchid being built into by Shibby is going to be fairly late. 18 minutes in, has 1 Oblivion Staff and a Robe of the Magi, so is still quite a ways away, sitting at about 2,000 gold from that Orchid at this point. And Fact or Fiction not going to be victim to this Vendetta bot lane with Jericho there. They do see Leo Style in this mid lane, and TP out from Jenkins. Psionic Trap is going to scout him out, but he'll be able to get out in time. And Leo Style bringing down some of the treants here. Does have backup here, so perhaps is baiting himself out slightly. Jump forward. Hoof Stomp is there. There's an Ancient Seal available as well. Double Edge. Ancient Seal is a little bit late. They will bring down the Aegis here. Split is committed. Boulder Toss into Sunken. And they will bring down the Skywrath on the backside. Nusham dying as the Elder Titan. 1 more Boulder Toss going to finish off that Skywrath. 2 for an Aegis thus far. Blink out by the Centaur. He's going to get chased down by this Fire Panda, but they won't get in range for a Cyclone or a Boulder Toss. Actually looks like the Cyclone missed there on the Centaur and hit this creep from Benhaz. But either way, they pick off 2 for the side of Union Gaming. They only lose an Aegis, so certainly a worthy trade for them. Blade Mail's now up for Jenkins. He's TP'd towards this top lane to push things in, but as Shibby pushes in the mid lane. But everyone backing off for the side of Union Gaming to defend. They've got Benhaz in the mid. He will do just fine there. Icebot's going to clean up the wave as well, and Benhaz going to find a little bit of farm here. Vendetta used on the sidelines by Tex, and he could look to find something here as most of the heroes are rotating in. TPs here from Sunken, and they're going to look to re-engage here, but they don't have their Storm Spirit in Shibby, so they should be careful. Vendetta in the front lines with Tex. Psionic Trap is there as well. Concussive Shock going to land onto Leo Style. Just going to scout things out for the moment, as is the Astral Spirit. And there will be a TP back top lane from Benhaz, and a TP mid as well from Leo Style, who's going to pop a Psionic Trap onto Shibby. Not going to matter much. And a lot of harass put into this tower by Jenkins, but he won't be able to bring it down into deny range. Benhaz actually keeping the wave at bay from doing that, and they'll keep it out of deny range for the time being. And Benhaz is going to find quite a bit of farm from this wave, but Jenkins getting most of the job done here, keeping the tower very low, keeping it out of deny range, and he does have his Blade Mail at the ready. They can look to fight, but the vision for the Radiant side is fairly poor. Once again, just this Roshan ward here, and a deep lane ward placed in the top lane for the side of Leviathan. And LVT need to get a little bit more map control if they want their Nature's Prophet to be doing this split pushing, but they are down by 5,000 net worth and 3,000 experience, and it's showing in the form of items now, with Leo Style picking up his BKB. Jump forward in the mid lane though. Shibby with the Ancient Seal going to be able to clean up Tex, and a clean one hero pick off for Leviathan. Roshan up in 5 minutes here. Leo Styles' Aegis was popped very soon after getting it in a 2 for Aegis trade in that jungle there. Meanwhile, bottom lane though, they've jumped in. Factor Fiction onto Jericho. Double Edges there. Right clicks there as well. Sprout even to secure things. And they'll find a nice clean pick off. So you do see the synergy between that Centaur and Nature's Prophet there, as well as the Skywrath and Shibby if they were available for that one. But either way, Hood of Defiance completed now for the Centaur. He will probably build into the pipe for the team. Don't see why he wouldn't. And after 20 minutes, taking a look at things, and we do see a net worth lead of 6K for UG, and the experience around 5k for them as well. But everything pretty even here, despite the fact that this TA is going to carry a little harder perhaps than the Storm Spirit will, and the Centaur Brew, both kind of space creators, don't transition extremely well. Brew, I would argue, transitioning a little better into the late game, does come through with a few of those right clicks with the Drunken Brawler maxed out, and 200% damage from that crit is pretty potent. Either way, mid lane, we could see an engagement here. A lot of heroes from both sides grouping up. Jenkins will TP towards the top lane to push things out there, and Stomp is going to zone out Leo style for the moment. Nicely placed by the Elder Titan for LVT. So Nusham allowing his team to retreat there and allowing Jenkins to find top lane here. There is rotations in from the Nyx Assassin, who is Vendetta up. They're going to use the glyph here, and Jenkins is going to try and TP out, but he should be scouted out by Tex. He actually guesses wrong. He does find him here. He didn't TP out yet. With the Bloodlust, he should be able to finish him off here. And Sprout TP out. Clap is not going to be enough. Jenkins going to be able to make it away with only the melee heroes there. No Psionic Trap to scout him out. They will actually get the tower with the creeps. So big misplay from Union, not able to deny that up, and nice influx of gold going there. Shibby, huge jump forward onto Baka, and we'll clean him up with the use of the Orchid. He's finally picked that up just over 20 minutes in. Mid lane, Factor Fiction going to catch a Fire Blast to the face. Jenkins going to TP into the side here. He's actually going to cancel that. And Vendetta going to be used by this Nyx Assassin. He's going to opt to TP to the high ground here. And they may go in mid, but there's a sentry here, and they see this Nyx coming. He's going to get Ancient Sealed up. So that will reveal the fact that they do have detection in the mid lane to Union Gaming, but it will also stave off the aggression from Union. And so nice disengage there by Leviathan. They're looking good in the last couple of minutes, finding a few clean pickoffs. You see the Graps dip back towards their favor, towards equilibrium here, but we do have Benhaz picking up his BKB now. There is a BKB still at 10 seconds available on Leo style, and we haven't really seen a 5-man engagement thus far, and both those items very scary here. Yasha 1600 gold also available on Leo. See if he goes for that Blink Dagger. Perhaps he goes right into a Desolator, as he does have the initiation from both the Nyx Assassin and the Brewmaster, and so could look just for strict right clicks here. He is level 15, highest still on the board with 176 last hits, and they're killing them in farm thus far, ahead of both of the cores by a couple thousand Art, the TA, and the Brewmaster. And they really need to get a little bit more done with this ganking combo, but doing a good job of sticking together is UG, and they know exactly the mechanics of the lineup from LVT, and they're going to force things as 5 bottom. It looks like LVT are going to look to take this tier 1 mid. It's not glyphed, as the glyph was down. But the Ice Blast going to fly through, going to connect on 2, Shibby on the way through, Factor Fiction on impact. Their tier 2 will go down bot lane, so nice trade here for Union Gaming. And perhaps instead of defending their tier 2, they do go high ground, but no, they're going to defend here, and will be successful in doing so. Everyone going to back off from the side of Leviathan. And no one leaving themselves susceptible to retreat kills here, except for Jericho, and no one really in range to find him out. He will get scouted out, passing by this rune here. And Roshan going to be pinged out from the Dire side, is not up for another 50 seconds. And we will have some ancient farming being done here by Jenkins with his 2 supports. Nusham does pick up that Yule Scepter, so very nice. And Skywrath Mage pretty damn poor for Sunken here. After 25 minutes, he was 3 and 4 on the CS chart, is still 3 and 4. But yeah, the life of a Skywrath does pick up a Staff of Wizardry in addition to his urn, so not terrible in terms of the farm war here. Jenkins is going to be able to TP back to base and won't get caught out top, but Factor Fiction is a little bit out of position here. Shibby is pretty survivable with the Ball Lightning escapability. And BKB at the ready here. Jump forward, clap onto Factor Fiction. He's also going to get Fire Blasted here. He's got the Drunken Haze. Jump in from Shibby, though. He's going to Orchid up Benhaz, but he's going to get the BKB off. Pipe is popped, so going to mitigate a little bit of that Ice Blast damage. And nice Yules up by Nusham. Stampede going to be used as well. Jump forward from Benhaz. He's trying to shatter up Factor Fiction. Ice Blast is now down, and the Hoof Stomp a little bit late as the stomp comes out. Boulder Toss going to finish off that Centaur. They're going to force forward, Cycloning up the Skywrath. They should get him next. Sunken going to go go down here. Mystic Flare not going to be enough for Leo Style. They can't keep him in place. Shibby going to have to back off here. Tex looking for him on the backside. Won't find him, but a clean 2 for Nell. Going the way of the Peruvians here, and Union Gaming looking good against the American squad, despite having quite a few stand-ins here. Jenkins still trying to find some split push here. Force forward, Fire Blast, Ignite out from Jericho. He will just be able to TP out, however, and does proceed to do exactly that. And so things will stagnate for the moment. 16-3 is your score. Shibby going to go in mid lane, Orchid up onto Leo Style. He will bring him back with that electric overload, but the BKB is popped from Leo Style here. Will he have enough to go forward into it? And Leo Style manning up onto Shibby. Meld Strike, a few refraction right clicks. TP forward is from Jenkins here. We'll have the Treants to bring down these refraction charges. BKB of his own is popped. He's actually being right clicked down, however, by Leo Style with the cover of the refraction charges. Once again, the TA manning up. And Nature's Prophet paying for his life as well. Jenkins and Shibby going down mid lane. Nice influx of experience for 4 heroes on the side of Union Gaming. And this is just getting scarier and scarier for the side of LVT. The TA is snowballing as they wanted her to do, and they will be able to go right into Roshan. Earning and bottling up is the TA. Will pick up a haste rune as well here. Using that refraction, they will have the chilling touch, and they will have the minus armor from the Meld Strike fairly soon to bring him down. In the back lines, though, they do pick off Jericho, the Ogre Magi, who was standing on the high ground. However, this is just going to buy time for the Roshan to be finished up here. Blink is available in... Nope, the Ice Blast is canceling that, and they will bring that down. Leo Style picking up the Aegis here. Stomp is going to land on Tex. There is an Earth Splitter here. Is going to land on a few. Does land on Tex as well as Ben has, but he's got the BKB up. And on the back lines, Leo Style is going to be just fine. Nusham going to be chased down by Ben has. Nice Yules up there, but he will right-click down the ET. He will pay with his life, however, as Shibby finishes him off here. Age is still available on Leo Style. Jenkins going to TP out, and the Brewmaster and Ogre go down. Ogre before even that engagement for the ET, so still a win for UG. If you ask me, they get the Roshan there. A lot of experience going the way of the Storm Spirit, however, for Shibby, which does help quite a bit for him. He will now find his level 16, so level 3 Ball Lightning is available for him. He'll be a lot more maneuverable. Still 2 levels lower than Leo Style on that TA, as is everyone else in the game at the very least. The Centaur only level 14 for Factor Fiction, doesn't have that level 3 Stampede. Wrath of Nature at level 3, gonna come out in a little while. 9-second BKB already for Jenkins. He uses that first one essentially just to die to the TA, so unfortunately for him. And we will see the Desolator build come out from Leo, so no Blink opted for here. He's got 6,500 gold though, and his 5k net worth ahead of the Storm Spirit. So this is looking really scary. He's also picked up an Ultimate Orb, so perhaps building into that Manta. Not sure why he wouldn't pick up the recipe though, if that is the case. He could build Deso here perhaps, or sorry, Scotty. It does stack with Deso, so it wouldn't be a bad choice, and actually is going to build a Hex. So that's why the Manta wasn't completed. Leo Style a little bit susceptible in top lane. Ice Blast going to fly out. Stomp is going to whiff, but they know he's got the Aegis here, so they're not willing to chase too deep. And Sheep going to come out here for Leo Style. Big pickup for his side. Just knowing how far ahead he is and knowing how much damage he does already just with that Desolator. This Sheep will pay dividends for sure. Very unorthodox on the TA, but just good for the team fight in general. If they hex up this Storm Spirit, he's pretty much dead. Jericho is going to get caught up with a Fire Blast and the Impale. Mana Burn is there as well, and he's going to get hexed up by Leo Style. There you see the first use of it, and Stampede out by the rest of the Leviathan squad. They're looking very poorly in this mid game. We take a look at the metrics. 5k lead in terms of net worth and experience for UG, so nothing insurmountable at this point, but the TA is pretty much all of that 5k, as everyone else is fairly poor from the Nyx Assassin down. And Leo Style looking very scary. Aghanim Scepter now picked up on the Ancient Apparition 31 minutes into the game, and that's a damn good timing for an AA. So poor who, I just mentioned how poor they were. Not really. And they will have the Ags up, which is devastating into the lineup of LVT, especially against that Nature's Prophet Skywrath ET. They're all pretty squishy to this, and 17-second duration is going to be crazy good. With that Bloodlust, and Ben has is hitting pretty quick and pretty hard, and he will build into an AC for the team, so is going for this Fighter Brewmaster build. No Aghanim Scepter needed. And they may be able to flank Jenkins here with the Vendetta from Tex. Jenkins going to stand here for the moment, and there is no vision of him just yet, unfortunately for Tex there. And he will extricate himself from any danger from that bottom lane. 3,100 gold on the NP. Can build into a Hex of his own if he wishes to do so. Hex out onto Factor Fiction in the middle, but he'll be just fine. They'll do a little bit of dewarding here, and Jericho sitting on the high ground with Tex. Vendetta up. Vendetta about to expire, however. Sunken is a great target for them, but there is a lot of backup here. Newsham's going to walk up the high ground. He's going to catch a Fire Blast to the face. Ignite is there. Impale as well. Mana Burn and the Spike Carapace into the Spirit here, but a few more right clicks. One from Leo Style. They're going to save the kill for exactly who they want to get it. And one right click and a chunk Sunken down quite a bit. Factor Fiction has popped the pipe. Is caught out, though, and will go down here. And there goes the Centaur War Runner as well. Sunken picked off with a couple Psionic Chops in the backline from Leo's side. He will use his BKB here, so that's now at 8 seconds, but well worth the kill. And the buyback situation is okay for Leviathan. They are able to buy back the Centaur and the Skywrath Mage. Elder Titan not able to return to the fray here, and looks like they're not willing to do so with the backdoor protection up for the moment. They still do have a glyph here. Ice Blast going to fly out top lane, and is not going to hit much. Shibby is pushing out the lane here. Jenkins pushing out the lane bottom, but neither of them are close enough to do structural damage. And it looks like UG are going to go high ground here. They still have the Primal Split available from the Brewmaster, so I definitely would agree with this choice. And they will put a lot of chip damage into the tier 3 before anyone even comes back for the side of Leviathan. And UG will just back out with a free tier 3 as the Aegis does get reclaimed here. 4 minutes till Roshan spawns, so we will have a fairly short spawn time about here. You will see that Roshan coming up. And things looking very good for Union Gaming after bringing down that tier 3. 10k net worth lead, 10k experience as well. And they do have that level 2 17 second duration Ice Blast from the Ancient Apparition. They've also picked up the AC for Benhaz here. Peruvians looking very good in the mid game here. 33 minutes in, your score is 23 to 15. Taking a look at the net worth chart, 7k ahead of the next closest target on Leviathan is the TA, which is Jenkins on the Nature's Prophet, who's only picked up a BKB and a Blade Mail. Does have 4,400 gold in the bank ready to pick something else up, but they just didn't get enough done with the Centaur, if you ask me. He only really could have created pick off here bottom and a two-man hoof stomp in a team fight. Everything else not really in the nature of pickoffs for the Centaur, and unfortunately they're not able to get enough done with him. He's built a Pipe, Force Staff, and Blink, so he's still pretty farmed. Almost has his level 3 Stampede, but he's just not as valuable at this point in the game as is a TA. Dyer's Courier does go down, 900 worth on that. So not sure that it really matters much, but either way will fall here. And Ice Blast going to fly top lane, not going to hit anyone. But things going to stagnate for the moment. 35 minutes in. BKB is up now on the Storm Spirit. That's 10 seconds for Shibby, where he can actually jump around these team fights. He definitely needs to be jumping around if he stands still and allows Leo Style to hit into him. You saw what happened mid lane when Leo Style manned up against him as well as Jenkins, and he brought both of them down. So TA looking very scary. Desolator was already picked up, so I don't know why it shows that. But they find Benhaz in the top lane, so Skywrath Centaur working out. Sorry for missing that one, guys. Either way, looks like Blink, Hoof Stomp into the Mystic Flare, Ancient Seal, and that'll be enough to bring down Benhaz, and that's a big kill for them. But still, it does allow them to perhaps push this T2 with the split down. There's no buyback for this Brewmaster available. Actually, no one in the game has buyback, by virtue mostly gold at this point, except for the Ancient Apparition. And Ice Blast is going to fly out here, not going to connect on any of these heroes, I don't think. And everything going to settle now. We do have a Force Staff coming out for Sunken from LVT, so that's a little bit better for him to be survivable against those Psionic Traps. Tex is going to scout out Chibi, however. He's going to drop a Spirit, and he'll see it pop, so he knows someone is here. He's going to pop his BKB. Impale missed anyways. Free kill for him. Tex getting a little bit overzealous there and didn't have any backup ready either, so probably just wanted to get that Impale hit off and back out, but Shibi could have chased him down easily with that Orchid and the Soul Ring. In the top lane, Mystic Flare out onto Baka is going to miss. but a few right clicks from Jenkins should finish him off. Meanwhile, in the meantime, the Skywrath does go down, so 1 for 1 thus far. And there is a Hoof Stomp at the ready here for Leo Style. Echo Stomp going to hit first. Earth Splitter is going to be there, and he will drop. So well played there from Leviathan. They'll get a 3 for 1 across the map. Nyx going down in the bottom lane. TA and AA going down for the Skywrath in the top lane. And a nice little bounty of gold and experience going their way. Shibby, 1300 gold on the Storm Spirit. They bring down the highest priority target. Hex is out for Jenkins. You saw it used there on the TA. And that's a very big pickup. Yule's now picked up, though, for Tex. And he'll be very survivable on this Nyx Assassin and also be able to set up his impales if need be. Jericho pushing out the bottom wave. Roshan is up in 20 seconds. So as I mentioned, that spot right there, and they will bring that up fairly soon. Tex scouting things out with the Vendetta, and the BKB is still available here for Benhaz, so they're gonna have to jump in and hit him with a disable. The Orchid will not be enough. He can purge that off with the BKB. Ice Blast gonna fly out bot lane, I assume, and that will be the case, and it's gonna hit this wave, so we'll push things back, but doesn't hit Sunken. And he will continue to farm up this bottom wave on the Skywrath. Is not the best at farming creep waves, but either way. 1800 gold up for Jenkins. Force Staff now picked up as well for Nusham. And he'll be fairly survivable with the Force Staff Yule's combo on this Elder Titan, just as the Nyx Assassin does have for the other side. And we'll harass this wave out a bit. Psionic Trap gonna scout out that Roshan is available here. And it is a level 3 Roshan with a cheese. So Smoke or Vendetta here used by the Nyx Assassin. Shibby is farming high ground, so he probably did see that Rosh. Yep, he dropped a Remnant. And yeah, interesting stat here. A lot of green items from the side of Leviathan, but Yule's Scepter up. Impale is going to fall. It's going to be a little too early from the Elder Titan. He's going to Yule's himself up as well. Ice Blast is going to land, but the Fire Blast, ding, 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 3 times multicast on that Elder Titan. Going to bring him down. Leo Style being chased down. Sunken is going to get sheeped up. One last right click. Sorry, Leo Style chasing down that Skywrath. 2 for 0. No buybacks available on either of those heroes. And it looks like everyone will retreat into the Roshan pit for UG. And playing it safe here, they should find a free Rosh, as Jenkins does push in the mid lane. So they do have the Vendetta available now from Tex. He will go to see if he can find Jenkins here. Roshan has been claimed, and Jenkins getting a little greedy in this mid lane. He's going to try and take down this tier 2. Glyph is available, however, and they will glyph it. And he's going to have to blink out and TP away. Will they be able to get to this deny off? Probably so. Benhaz does do it. And Jenkins finding a little bit of map control for his side, but not the gold, unfortunately. And Aegis did go the way of Benhaz, perhaps? Yep, Benhaz is the one to pick that up. So we will have a first life to jump in and just right-click the crap out of people. And we'll have the Primal Split available for that second life, or vice versa. Either way, UG going to go high ground with their advantage here. Don't blame them. Rax is already exposed for the side of LDT. Ancient Seal out onto Benhaz, but just going to stall things out. He's got an Aegis, so if they commit onto him heavily, they will be punished for it. Also, Jenkins is pushing in the top wave. Does have quite a bit of creeps here, but jump forward onto Nusham. BKB popped by Benhaz. He's going to throw out the Drunken Haze. But they're going to be able to force back the Elder Titan. Meanwhile, the backdoor regeneration is here, as there's no wave in quite yet for UG, but it does come in now. They will be able to bring down this ranged racks. They still have the split available for Benhaz. Earth Splitter is going to go out, but they will disperse from the side of UG, and Yule's up onto the TA here. Stomp is not going to be there, as they did silence up the Elder Titan, but Stomp is now going to land onto Benhaz. Double hoof stomp there. He is going to be brought down. There goes his Aegis. Mystic Flare out onto Leo's house. He'll be next to fall. Very nice synergy of abilities here. Factor Fiction is going to die to a clap and one right click. And in the meantime, Jenkins is pushing top lane. Split is going to bring down that Rax, but he's taking a tier 3 of his own. He will be able to hex up Jericho with his BKB. He's going to pop the Blade Mail and just look to TP out. So unfortunately, he decides to go for the melee Rax instead of the ranged. And that will regen back up mostly. So costly defense there for LVT. They will bring down Benhaz again, though, in the mid lane. And all things considered, it does go very well for them. Should be able to zip away and won't fall to the right clicks of Benhaz. Benhaz is going to fall. TA is going to fall as well. A couple TPs back from the supports. I believe we saw Tex dying there, but he will open in with an Impale. Spike Carapace is up one last right click on the Elder Titan, and he does find a return kill for his side. Hex now picked up for the side of Shivy. Hex Gaming. 2 hexes on the side of Leviathan in the Nature's Prophet and the Storm Spirit. 1 on the side of UG for the Templar Assassin. Aghanim Scepter, though, has been picked up here. That's a little weird. From Baka. Either way, that was picked up already, so he must have dropped it and picked back up. Either way, Jenkins dying in the top lane. Doesn't get this range racks once again. And unfortunately for the side of LVT, it looks like Shibby is looking to jump in. And he does. He does have his BKB. Is just going to use it to bring down this melee racks. And wills it forward looking for the courier. He's not able to bring it down. Only had a TP on it. Either way, things going to go decently there for Leviathan. They do have to expend a 8-second BKB charge, so that could be costly for Shibby going forward, as he won't have that magic immunity for most of these fights, or at least for that extra 8-second duration. But he will bring down the melee racks, which does help force the top lane in, and this range racks is at 10 HP and will not regen, so that will drop fairly soon as well. Certainly no reason to deny it, or is there? Yeah, certainly no reason to deny it. That'll slow the wave momentum coming out from the Dire side. And Tech's going to scout some things out. He may find Sunken on the high ground here, and this could be a huge pickoff if he finds him. Impale is there, but Shibby's there with the Orchid. He's going to get hexed up, however, by Leo style. Meld Strike, a couple right clicks, will get forced back, and the Ice Blast is going to whiff. And they won't be able to bring down the Storm. Would have been a big kill for Leo style there, who picks up his Manta. And in the meantime, Jenkins backdooring that range rack, so only 1 hit away. There's no backdoor regeneration able to kick in with only 1 hit there, and will make a nice play on the Nature's Prophet. So 1 lane of racks for either team is down. The mid lane down for LVT, but they did get the top lane for it, and despite the advantage that was had by Union Gaming, this is looking fairly even at this point. You see the dip back in LVT's favor, but 7K-ish lead in both experience and net worth for the side of Union Gaming. And they will aggress towards this top tower. Stomp can be here on Leo style. It does land. Ancient Seal out onto Benhaz as well. But just going to stall things for the moment. Leo style not going to be aggressed on. Jenkins is in the middle lane on that Nature's Prophet, and they will get a free tower here. Leo style finding the last hit on that Templar Assassin. Does have the cheese in his inventory as well. So with that BKB, he should have a good engagement here. Benhaz in the mid lane, going to have his blink canceled with the Ancestral Spirit. And you will see him clap the ground there. Hex out onto Nusham. Shibby, though, he's going to find Leo style. He does have the cheese. He will pop it as well as his BKB. Meld Strike into the ET. Not going to find much. Benhaz going on Factor Fiction here, though. He's going to get forced out defensively. Pipe is going to be popped as well. Shibby is there with some vision from the high ground. And everyone will back off from the side of UG. So they do bait out the cheese and the BKB from Leo style, and they can certainly re-engage here at any moment if they choose to do so. However, BKB is down as well for the Nature's Prophet, and I believe the Storm Spirits is down. That's true too. So they will send out some units to delay the wave here, so there no backdooring, excuse me, in the other lanes. Concussive shots out, jump forward, hoof stomp, and the double edge onto Leo style. Mystic Flare's there as well. Nice sprout to keep him in range. He will go down. Nusham is next to fall to the primal split. 4 staffs everywhere. Everyone trying to disengage from the side of LVT during this primal split. Force forward, fire blast though onto Jenkins, and he will drop immediate buyback from the Elder Titan. Buyback is also ready from the Nature's Prophet here. And they will look to find some return kills. Stomp onto 2 here. Buyback from Jenkins. And blink forward, hoof stomp on 2. Ancient Seal is there as well. Stampede through. They're going to clean up both Tex and Jericho. And we'll look to pursue more. But Baka is going to get out. Nice few return kills there, but costly defense for the side of Leviathan. They're going to buy back on both the Elder Titan and the Nature's Prophet. Jenkins holding on to that buyback until he saw that 2-hero stomp, and they are able to get quite a few return kills here, both on the TA, Nyx, and Ogre. So Benhaz was able to retreat out after that split, it seems. Either way, 3,800 gold on the blue Brewmaster. And Ice Blast did land onto Sunken in the top lane, as well as the Elder Titan for Nusham, who does have 600 gold, so not much in the way of item progression for him. There's 1,900, however, on the Skywrath, so he can go for a Yules of his own if he chooses to do so. Perhaps a point booster and build into the mech. He will place a high ground ward here. Jump in bottom lane onto Benhaz. He's going to BKB up though. Baka will look to be falling here. Zip forward from Shibby will finish him off. Benhaz gets hexed up by Jenkins, and they'll bring him down as well. Stampede utilized there. Instant buyback from the Brewmaster. Jenkins going to have to TP out into the tree line. Courier trying to be sniped once again by Shibby. He will get away for the time being. And everyone going to disengage from the side of LVT very cleanly. And they will bait out the buyback there from the Brewmaster. So, well played by them to get that clean pick off. They don't get any structural damage, but they do bait out the buyback. Tex is looking for someone here. And Shibby will see that spirit get popped. So, he does pick up a regen rune here, which is very nice for him. And things will stagnate for the moment. Jenkins pushing in the top lane once again. Blinks out into the tree line, which is non-existent at the moment. But he will be able to TP back to base and does pick up a Desolator of his own now. So one on either side. Gonna accelerate the push for Leviathan. And things looking fairly good for Leviathan at this point. Yeah, so early on, the Centaur not very effective, of course, but has been looking pretty good with a couple of multiple hero hoof stomps here lately, and has really been somewhat effective in these engagements later on, as you would expect him not to do. But either way, Roshan's up and been scouted out by Benhaz. So he will pick up the makings of an AC as well for his team. He has enough for this Hyperstone too. It doesn't look like the Courier is going towards that shop quite yet, and the AC really desperately needed for the side of LVT, as there is one already over on UG. They're going to smoke through the jungle of UG, but they won't find anyone. Everyone has grouped up near this Roshan pit. Is there a smoke available for the side of UG? There is not at the moment. Perhaps there's one coming over than the Courier. No, it just looks like they'll try and bait Roshan here, and they are going to ping their own jungle, as the Psionic Trap probably briefly scouted out Shibby here. And so they know that the Roshan pit is unoccupied, and they will jump in for this. However, Sprout from the high ground should be able to scout them out here, and it does from Jenkins. Force up though. Fire Blast into Jenkins' face. There is an Impale to follow from Tex. He's going to get hexed up. Stampede is used. It's going to allow him to get out for the time being. And Benhaz is going to get caught out here. Shibby going to find him with a Hex. He is going to be able to drag him back. Jenkins is trying to TP out. Mystic Flare is there for Benhaz. He does have the BKB though, and will be able to split. Shibby going to zip down to the low ground and should be able to make it out. Jump forward onto Sunken. He's going to be the one that dies. Primal Split is going to be canceled here. Nusham trying to exit and should be able to do so. Is the Force Staff available? Not anytime soon. The Ice Vortex is there, however, from Baka. And so far, just the Skywrath going down. And there will be a Stomp available here. Nusham should find a solo kill onto Baka here. He's going to have to try and dodge this Earth Splitter, and he is able to do so. He dodges the Ice Blast as well. Ice Vortex is there. Nusham trying to chase him down with that Astral Spirit move speed. One more right click will be enough with the Astral Spirit. In the meantime, tier 3 taken down by Jenkins, once again ratting away. And they will lose the Centaur, however, in that engagement, but he does have buyback, and we do have the AA down. We'll look at the buyback scenario here. It's up for most heroes. The Brewmaster does not have it. Still on cooldown for Jenkins, but he does find that tier 3 and is porting towards the mid lane to find the Courier here, which has a gem. And he picks up a gem and 175 gold for everyone on his team. Very nice pick off there for Jenkins Dota. And things looking really good here. Once again for Leviathan, they take down this tier 3. They now have an exposed set of racks in the bot lane. They have gone into the Roche pit, however, for UG with Leo style. There's a TP into Jenkins, and Benhaz blinks down just in the nick of time to not scout him out. Stomp is going to land on Nusham. Jump forward from Shibby. He's going to hex him up, but he's going to get hit with this Impale. Will the Mystic Flare be enough? It is, and Leo style goes down for the Storm Spirit. Definitely a worthy trade for the side of Leviathan. The Spirit is there as well, but the Echo Stomp is down. Roshan going to be cleaned up here. Aegis on the deck, and the snatched by Benhaz. So Jenkins going to have to TP out here. They do get the last hit onto Roshan. The Stomp is going to be canceled with the Yule Scepter of the Nyx Assassin. And defensive Yule Scepter by ET going to buy some time, but he's probably going to drop there. And he does. Jericho going to fall in the backside to Shibby as well as the Skywrath Mage. But we did have a buyback from the Storm Spirit there, and he doesn't get enough done with it. And now the TA is ready. Ben has with the Aegis as well. Elder Titan didn't pick up that Aegis, and Jenkins had a full 6 slots there. So misplay from them. And unfortunately, the Aegis goes to Benhaz here. So despite the Brewmaster not having buyback, he will have 2 lives. Jenkins looking to rat though, finding the tier 4. And the glyph is popped here. They only have Baka back, who's unable to defend against him with that Hex. TP's back from Tex, though. He will be able to Yules him up. Impale is going to follow here, is going to land. BKB is not up, it is now up here, and he is going to Hex him. He's going to get Spike Carapace, however, and he will BKB that Cold Feet, but one more right click from the Nyx, and they'll bring Jenkins down, and he doesn't have buyback now, so they can go towards the base of Leviathan. The 90 seconds down, but the Storm Spirit is up for Shibby here. A lot of back and forth in this one. Taking a look at the graphs, very erratic, about equilibrium. Your score is 36 to 29. 52 minutes in, our second 50+ minute game of the day, folks, and it's a big one. Jump forward, Hoof Stomp is not going to land. He's going to get the BKB off in time. Ben also has the Aegis in tow here. Going to put a few right clicks into Shibby. And he will blink forward onto Fact or Fiction, who does have his Hoof Stomp down. He's going to get Orchided up. Hex goes out from Leo style onto Shibby. And Benhaz is going to get connected here. Ice Blast on 3, however. Shibby going to have to pop his BKB. He's going to have to back off. Split is committed here. And it looks like Noosham will be the sacrificial lamb for his crew. He does Yules up the boulder toss, but Tex is here with an Impale. And he's going to Yules him up. Impale at the ready. Noosham going to drop here. And we do have the Centaur being cycloned up. The tier 3 is going to go down in the meantime. Buybacks from both the Nature's Prophet and the ET. They're going to bring down Benhaz's Aegis. Jump forward. Hoof Stomp not going to land on anyone. BKB popped by Leo style. Pipe is popped. An Echo Stomp going to land on 2. There's an Earth Splitter here as well. Benhaz is going to get hit by that. Jericho is going to be brought down. And Benhaz next to fall, it seems. Shibby going to have to zip out for the time being. Jump in. Hoof Stomp on 1 from Factor Fiction. The double edge goes as well. He's taking a lot of right click from Leo style, however. And the Stomp is going to land. He's going to be able to BKB in time for Benhaz, though. Few right clicks coming out from Noosham. And into the face of Leo style. He may die here. Shibby tries to bring on Benhaz. He does finally drop. And Leo style will be next to fall. 121 seconds on the sideline. Shibby does die in the back lines. So the Storm Spirit and the TA down for a very long time right now. But not sure if they have the ratting capability. Ice Blast is going to fly out mid lane here. Tier 4 is very low for the side of LVT, and Noosham will catch this Ice Blast perhaps. Actually, it's going to go towards the fountain where it will hit Jenkins, who's going to cancel his TP, let that duration go out, and it's going to perhaps look for this range barracks, but there are no units in the base anymore. Tex and Baka able to clean those up in the top lane. And Shibby and the TA have no buyback. It is on cooldown. Brewmaster does have buyback. Centaur has buyback. Nobody else in the game with that available. So it looks like things will finally settle down here. Roshan not up for a good 4.5 minutes. And Gem did go over to the side of Leviathan. Take a look at the graphs here. Do they tell anything about this? Nothing but that it's been a pretty crazy game. Jenkins in the top lane, though, finishes off the range racks. He's going to be able to blink out and TP away as well. Jericho going to force in the wrong direction. Not going to find him. Jenkins doing a lot of work on this MP. That's 2 lanes of racks to 1. They still have a full healthy lane of racks in the bot lane for the side of LVT, and they will take the 1 lane racks advantage, and they will get their bottom lane to start pushing out with the Megas ready now. So that's huge, and they do have the Treants disrupting the creep equilibrium here as well. And Jenkins circling up the base, saying, "Let's go, boys." Storm Spirit is up fairly soon. They do have the Centaur Skywrath combo here to perhaps bring down a support with the help of that ET. Noosham been pretty on point with this Elder Titan with his stomps as well as his Earth Splitters. And Stampede going to be used. They're going to find Jericho here. Jump in, Hoof Stomp, Ancient sealed up. They will do exactly what I mentioned and pick off a support. And that Ogre is down without buyback for 70 seconds. Storm Spirit, Shibby is zipping back towards the fight. And TA is up now, but Jenkins is in the mid lane as well. It's going to be a 5-on-4 for this engagement from Union Gaming. Will Leviathan be able to take it here? This will secure their spot in the top 4 for at least this series. If they're able to take this game, that'll put them at 10 wins. And Union Gaming can finish at max 9 if they win the next game. So Very, very interesting stuff here. We may see the game be decided by this next engagement. Fact or Fiction does have his Reaver as well as his AC up, so is the battering ram in the front lines. He's going to get hit with a Drunken Haze. Jenkins going to be split pushing in the bottom lane. Jump forward, hoof stomp onto Benhaz. They have jump forward with the stomp as well. The BKB won't be there in time. There is a BK buyback ready here as Jenkins is going to get caught out bot lane by Leo Style and the Nyx Assassin. He will be able to, TP out, but he gets hexed up. Meld Strike, few more right clicks from Leo Style, gonna bring him down. Stampede, they're gonna look to extricate themselves from the situation. Boulder Toss is gonna hit onto the Centaur, but he's gonna blink up to the high ground. He'll be just fine. Shibby, however, has been Yules'd up, and there's no buyback on Jenkins or the ET here. Shibby needs to get out. He does zip to disjoint that Boulder Toss. And they're just looking to retreat here. Cyclone up, though, onto the center. He will have a hoof stomp at the ready. They're going to dodge it, and everyone going to split up. Fact will be able to blink out. They do take down the tier 3 here. Shibby going to reinitiate, however, onto Baka, the Ancient Apparition, who does Ghost Scepter up. Will be just fine for the time being, as Leo Style and Benhaz had to walk back into their base. Their last tier 4 is now down, and the Ancient is exposed and being right-clicked into a bit by the creep wave here. So Leviathan, costly offense for them, but they do force out the buyback from Benhaz. Now Centaur and the Ancient Apparitions, the only ones in the game. 30 seconds until the buybacks cool down for Shibby and TA. They both will have enough gold, presumably, if they don't buy out a big item now, to utilize that buyback, and perhaps they just look to go headlong towards these Raxes here for the side of LVT. Union Gaming have not mounted a defense yet. They haven't pushed this wave up. An offense, I should say. They haven't put this wave out quite enough to go into the tier 4's mid. A lot of last hits for sure for this TA here. And still, though, buying that Hex doesn't hit quite as hard as he would want to at this point in the game. Does have the buyback ready for 1900 gold now with 5400 as well. So it does have enough to buy perhaps a Demon Edge. Maybe into an MKB or a Crystallis here. Crystallis not bad at all with that Meld Strike. And we'll look to push out the top lane for Leo Style. Looks like UG just going to bottle up in their base and look to defend here, as they should at this point. Jenkins has TP'd in. He's going to get scouted out by a Psionic Trap, and he will blink forward. The Force is actually once again in the wrong direction by Jericho, out of the map. Instead of going this way, went that way. And unfortunate for him, look, I can draw outside the map. That's cool. Either way, Range Rax has been dropped to below half HP here. And that will not regen up by the units of the Nature's Prophet. And things looking very good for Leviathan. They now have all their squad up. 2 buybacks ready. Storm Spirit is short on gold for the buyback. He did purchase up a Bloodstone, so not sure he would want that over the buyback here. But it does reduce his res timer quite a bit. So in effect, it is somewhat of a buyback for him, but certainly not an instant one. And his res timer at this point is in excess of 100 seconds, so it probably will only bring him down to something around 70 or 80, which is still quite a ways to be in the grave. So Jenkins going to push out the top lane here. 59 minutes in. Our score is 35 to 41 in favor of UG. Ice Blast going to go fly out. Top lane is going to hit onto Jenkins, but there's no follow-up available. And the Ancestral Spirit going to scout things out here. Haste Rune on Factor Fiction as well. He's picked up his heart. Pretty tanky at 3,400 gold. Should be able to get off a couple of hoof stomps in these engagements. And if he places them well, as he has been thus far, they could turn the tides of these team fights. Vendetta is popped here from Tex. He's going to look to scout things out. But we'll actually probably go towards the Roshan pit here. Rosh is actually almost a completely max spawn at 10 minutes and around 40 seconds out of the 11. So unfortunately there, Shibby is bot lane. He is going to get jumped on by Benhaz. He's going to be able to zip away, and they do bring down the courier for the Dire here, so that's kind of big. There was 2,100 gold on that. Taking a look at the item progression here from the side of UG. Not sure, it probably was an ultimate orb perhaps for the TA here, but either way, no, TA still holding on to most of his gold, so perhaps for the Brewmaster or the Nyx Assassin. Top lane, though, Factor Fiction has been gone in on. Stomp goes out onto Leostyle. They'll be able to force him away from the Impale and jump down from Benhaz onto the ET. Not going to find much. Meanwhile, ratting in the mid lane. Shibby and Jenkins finding this out here, but Jenkins going to fall. He's even going to pop his BKB, so if he buys back, he doesn't have that up. Buyback is available from the NP. The Illusions doing work on the melee racks, and Nusham going to fall on the backside to the split, as well as the Unrefined Fire Blast. So the Rat not quite effective enough here. Jump in from Shibby, however. He's going to get out in time and will TP out. But no, the Yules is there before the end of the BKB duration. He has no mana. The Cold Feet going to proc. Fire Blast very costly for Leviathan. They do finally get Mega Creeps here. But 2 buybacks available for them. And they should be just fine as all their lanes are pushed out. Factor Fiction has gone in on Jericho here. He's got the support of his Skywrath as well. Mystic Flare not there. Sunken doesn't have the mana for it. Ice Blast is going to whiff completely. There will be another Blink Hoof Stomp, but he probably should use the Blink out. No, he'll get hit with the Unrefined Fire Blast. Vendetta Impale. He'll be forced back by the Skywrath and will use his force of his own here. But the Fire Blast will be there. Another Impale available in 5 seconds. Unrefined Fire Blast. Meld Strike is available. Hex used from Leostyle. He's going to get forced forward and will be able to put a lot of harass into Factor Fiction, who will die but does have buyback here. And has for this entire engagement. So 4 down from the side of LVT. It looks like they'll just hang on to their buybacks, knowing that they do have Mega Creeps. And that UG are going to have to push out pretty much all these lanes unless they just go headlong towards the tier 4s now. And the Storm Spirit is back up in 10 seconds. Leostyle is in the mid lane, so they can TP back this Jenkins, or they can TP Jenkins in with the Storm Spirit here. So this is a little scary for Leostyle walking up the mid lane. He needs to be very careful here. And you see how big these creeps are getting. Jump forward from Shibby. There's the Hex. As I mentioned, jump forward though. Fire Blast onto him, but the Mystic Flare is going to bring down the TA. Shibby will be next to fall. Once again, they go down simultaneously. Stomp lands on 2. Jenkins looking to take down the Ogre. He will get hexed, but forced up to the high ground. The Earth Splitter not going to hit on anything. The Brewlings are immune to that. And they will Yules up the Nyx Assassin here. And looking to put some damage into the tier 4s. Jump forward. Hoof Stomp is onto the Nyx. And Echo Stomp gonna land on him as well. He'll get Ancient sealed up. Few more right clicks here will be able to bring him down. Benhaz is caught out of position here, and they will jump forward. The Nature's Prophet, and Benhaz is gonna fall without buyback. The Brewmaster is down. This could be GG here. We do have Leostyle up. Jericho running for his life though with low HP. Sunken may be able to find him with a concussive shot here and does catch a Fire Blast to the face as well as the Unrefined Fire Blast. Blink out from Jericho. 4 staffs everywhere. You're not going to be able to chase him down quite yet. Yep, and 3 Force staffs on each side. So use the Force. Jenkins TPing in, however, to rat it up. He's got his units here as well as the right clicks from Deso. Leostyle's not available. They will have the Ancient Apparition here. He will pop his BKB and he will have to TP out. Jenkins trying to go for the GG. But in the meantime, Stampede forward from the rest of his lineup here. They will look to just take down this Ancient. Few right clicks from the Stapler. Nusham going to get a Hexed up. Hoof Stomp from the Centaur. He's going to put some more right clicks into this Ancient. Will they be able to bring it down? And they are. Good game called as it goes down. Necrobooks picked up at the end of it by Jenkins. Thank you so much for joining me here, guys. That was a huge game. 60+ minutes. Thank you to Sebik for joining us for stats from the Join Dota team. And that's a 1-0 first victory going the way of Leviathan. This is a best of 2, guys. Yes, we do have another game coming your way. That'll put Jenkins and crew into the top 4 for sure for at least the end of today. So they will be in the top 4 in the Join Dota American Division 1. And upcoming, we have the next game, best of 2 here, guys. That'll be it, I believe, for JDL tonight. Just going to check the schedule real quick. And at least for what we are covering, that should be it for JDL tonight. And it seems that that is the case. We will have tomorrow, very early on, a game at 11:30 CET with CSW versus Execration in Asia Division. But for now, we'll get back into the lobby here, guys, and join me for Game 2. Thanks for watching. This is HeflaTV. I am Morris Please, your resident Canadian.